that help participants bridge the gap between teens and elders, helping high school students gain confidence and critical life skills by expressing their unique stories, and the Solo Intensive to help professionals and adults take the next step in creating their own solo theater. Be the one to help them be the one. Hot diggity dog.
And welcome to the second day, or the last 2 hours
The last 2 hours.
of the wonderful Giving Challenge. We've had a great time of it so
We
far.
did. I think we've been feeling very successful
Mhm.
because we really want to continue doing our wonderful education programs from the middle school into the high school into professionals and adults. And with the idea that, we'll watch a little bit what one of our complainants says later, that we should be all over the country. So-
That's right.
but this has been fun. I'm
Mhm.
so exhausted, though. I tell you, just absolutely exhausted. Just before we get going here, do you want to talk about some of the people that have been given? We've had some really wonderful gifts come in from people.
Yeah, I'd love to. Gretchen Green.
Gretchen, okay, great.
That's wonderful. Scott Keys.
Scott Keys.
Jeremy Mossman.
Scott Keys was head of the theater department at Booker High School for many,
Mhm.
many years. And so he knows the effects that this program has on the high school kids.
In fact, can we tell the little story about him seeing his kids for the
Go
first
ahead.
time?
You tell it.
Yeah, Scott was the freshman and senior advisor and counselor, I believe, for all the VPA acting students.
Yeah, well, he also taught them.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I just said instructor, yeah.
Yeah.
So he would see a lot of our juniors, but they weren't with him, in that year. And I remember the first year, he sat in the audience watching the juniors that thought he knew really well, and said, crying and saying, I didn't know this about them, because they were telling some parts of themselves that weren't known.
Mhm.
And it wasn't just that. The knowing is something else, and he started to see them strengthen
Mhm.
in beautiful ways. Anyway, so Scott was around very early on with everything we were doing here.
Yeah. Who else you got there?
Michael Foyer.
Michael Foyer. Michael Foyer was in our very first festival. In fact, he was the very first person in the festival.
Mhm.
He's an incredible dancer, an incredible choreographer, and he did a physical theater piece. Yes, I see you're drinking from SaraSolo cup. If anyone wants one, just let me know.
Our wallpaper,
And
SaraSolo.
Michael did this beautiful piece that was all nonverbal, told a beautiful little story, a travelogue in 9 little dances. That was so brilliant. I see that Jeremy Mossman and I have team taught for Broadway Theater Project for many, many years. He's a vocal technician, and he came down to the festival to do his solo musical, which is fantastic.
Robert
Beautiful.
Foti, who's always a supporter. And
Absolutely.
thank you, Robert, again.
Thank you, Robert. And your expertise in set design and film has been so valuable to us.
A remarkable Sharon Ornstein.
Sharon
who,
Ornstein.
Again, has twice been on our festival early on with a project that evolved, and that was exciting to see. I got a chance to work with her a lot in Golda, Rhapsody for Golda, and
just
that
beautiful.
continues. That's great. Tracy Dunn, thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Polly Penn.
Polly Penn. I worked with Polly Penn way back in the day. It was one of my first off-Broadway shows. Oh no, it was actually the first one I did after giving birth to Huck, our son.
Yeah, it wasn't your first Broadway show.
Yeah, no, not at all. But it was Goblin Market. Polly Penn wrote the music, and it was just, she's such a dear. We've had so much fun together. So thank you, Polly. I know you would love all the stories that I tell
as well. But,
yeah,
it was a story with both of them. I love that. Polly's been around for a long time, and so has Deb McWaters.
Deb McWaters, I got to meet. She is the artistic director of Broadway Theater Project, and she's been down for a while with it. We're going to be doing it this summer, working with 12 to 14 individuals. Shaping the artists, and so she's been a great supporter of what we do in solo theater, and so thank you very much, Deb, for coming in.
Leva Jane Grossman, who just did the solo performance in studio
Mm-hmm.
with Lamus at Sarasota Contemporary
And I
Dance.
think she's going to come and join us later on today, so we can talk to
I think we
talk
are.
to Leva. Go ahead.
Good. Wendy Elwell, who has also been a remarkable supporter ever since, especially since Trevor's Fire, because she had a special connection with that.
Yeah, I wrote a series
started.
of living room, what I thought were living room theater pieces, and one of them was stimulated by her son, who she was concerned about because he had a lot of anger, being someone with ADHD labeling, fire on the brain. And so I wrote this beautiful story called Trevor's Fire, and she's been just the best.
And I fell in love with the play and asked Annie if I could do it as long as she directed it.
Mhm.
So we did that, and
That got us to the United Solo Festival.
it got us to the United
Yeah.
Solo Festival, and we won the best premiere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
in
with
that
that
whole
piece.
solo.
Yeah.
So I mean that was incredible.
Yay!
That one.
That was the year that really got us going into wanting to create a theater company down here to help educate the Sarasota audiences to solo theater. Now, you would go to the Oslo, you would go to FST, and go to many theaters that would have a solo play that was published. It's been off Broadway or on Broadway or whatever. But to actually spend a lovely evening with people who are creating their own pieces that usually only get done in festivals, it was great to have that education happen here, which spurred us creating our own educational programs so that other artists, theater artists, can get a chance to express themselves with that singular voice. Because usually you go do a play, and then very few people think, oh, I can do this by myself, because it's very scary to do it by yourself. So it's been really wonderful.
And I don't know if we can take any credit for this, but it's interesting that maybe also because of COVID, that all the major theaters in Sarasota do solo plays now.
Right.
At some point. And FST seems to have something running almost all the time.
Uh-huh.
And in their regular schedule, Urbanite has had at least one. And some of their audiences started with us too.
Mhm.
And I think we helped educate audiences
Mhm.
because watching solo anything is exceptional. It's a rarefied thing to do as an audience member because you had to become what we call
the scene partner. Yeah.
So there's an extra bit of involvement, and it's really great to now see our great audiences going to everywhere.
Absolutely. Well, just for fun, I want to pull up the thing that makes me laugh so hard. We have a dear friend by the name of Christine Petty. She is, well, you'll just watch this and you'll see. She put this together for us a couple years ago. I put it out every once in a while when we do the Giving Challenge because she is brilliant at telling people to be the one. So let's see if I can pull up the divas.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Maggie Smith, Dame Maggie Smith, and I'm asking you, on behalf of SaraSolo, to be the one. Yes, just be the one. Very good then.
Hello, everyone. It's Angela Lansbury, here for SaraSolo, asking you to be the one.
You know who you are. You're looking right at me. It's Elaine Stritch. I'm here for SaraSolo. I want you to be the one. Do it! Be the one. Now, drink to that!
Hello. This is Eartha Kitt, here for SaraSolo, urging you to be the one.
Hi everybody, it's Fran Jeresha, and you know I love Florida, so I'm so happy about SaraSolo. I'm here asking you to be the one. Hello, it's Joan Rivers. Can we talk? Listen, I am here for SaraSolo. It's just, I want you to be the one. Could you be the one? Could you just do that for me? Oh, good. Because, when people don't listen, I just, it's just can't go.
Hello, this is Bernadette Peters for SaraSolo saying that we want you to be the one.
Oh, yes, this is Carol Channing. I'm here for SaraSolo, and I am asking you, it would be so very wonderful if you would be the one. Yes, won't you be the one? Oh, that's wonderful.
Listen, Florida. I love Florida. And I love SaraSolo. Although I thought it was pronounced differently, but apparently it's pronounced SaraSolo. And SaraSolo wants you to be the one. So just be it. You know what I mean?
Angela Lansbury.
Hello, all you lovely, lovely people. SaraSolo.
Oh, I'll do it again.
Hello, all you lovely, lovely.
No, I'll do it again.
Angela Lansbury here. SaraSolo wants you to be the one.
God, I love her.
Well, Christine Petty is probably from in our day. I'm saying not our day, but in the last 10, 15 years, in my mind has become one of the greatest impressionists.
Absolutely.
Especially because she sings like each of them as well.
Yeah.
We got to see her in this return to. She was a guest star in the Forbidden Broadway when they did their latest
Forbidden
piece.
Sondheim. Yeah.
Forbidden Sondheim. So that was always
just
be
love
there.
her. And whenever I'm in New York, she also has a podcast about Broadway and get a chance to come on. We just have the best time, just the best time. What a great interviewer she is. So.
And a really cool thing about Christine is that Annie said, "Hey, we're going to be in New York doing this festival of solo stuff, and we're right in the same building where you're doing your musical, the musical. So why don't you come?" And she didn't know what she was going to see, and she came to see me in Trevor's Fire, not knowing me or anything about any of this. She just knew Annie wrote it and directed it, and I remember looking at her face after and just she was not shocked, but just saying, "Wow, okay, I didn't know what I was coming to, and here it is." And I think that she was wonderfully responsive to it.
Right.
I was very, very honored that she was there.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Boy.
So let's talk a little bit about our 3 programs that we've been asking for your generous help and gift to help us continue to go forward. Our first one is called The Bridge. It started in 2018. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're right. Because we've had 6.
Right. I had a wonderful conversation with Carrie Mills, who is the head of the theater department and teaches over at Booker Middle School in their Visual and Performing Arts Center. And we wanted to create a program together working through SaraSolo. And we came up with the idea of doing an intergenerational program. At the time it was called Gen to Gen. It's now called The Bridge, where we would bring in 60 plus adults into her intermediate class of kids about 12 and 13 years old to interview. They would spend some time before the elders come in learning about creative active listening and practicing. And they were just wonderful. They would come in and the 60 plus adults would interview them. And the kids had to go away and learn something about they had to create a monologue. What I'm saying, they're creating a monologue as that elder. And the elders had to do it as well. I'm going to pull up a video for you guys to watch that I think is wonderful. First of all, let's just take a quick look at the loop here. And we can continue talking about it.
Great.
So
Yeah. So
again,
this
oh, and we
has
did call our program the Solar Synergy. I keep forgetting to mention that. Our educational program in the schools is called Solar Synergy. And the first one is The Bridge.
that's good, excellent. And Annie is endearingly calling these the elders who come in.
Yeah.
What we're seeing now is what the classroom looks like, because there is that period when the elders get to talk to the youth and learn as much as they can about them. We've learned that it's great for either one of them to tell a story about their past, to get a good sense of their lifetimes. Oftentimes, the elder will find a similar story without even digging too deeply, and that there's a commonality that's starting to be established.
Right.
And it's remarkable. I've had a chance, and Annie has a few times, to be actually an elder with another student.
Right.
My chance was three different times with. I think my student came up here in this class, and it's amazing to be on that side of things. Otherwise, Annie does a lot of exercises with the students. There's a lot of educating about creative active listening, which is something that age students aren't used to doing.
And we actually do that similar classes in a sense, or similar conversations with our 60 plus adults.
Yeah,
which
let's
I
call them
commonly call
elders.
the
It's so much-
elders. I love it.
Yeah,
60 plus adults sounds so clinical.
Yeah, and it also
But
sounds like a number.
I know, and I love it.
And they would
I
never
love
fit
the
in that
elders
room.
because to me it's like sitting at the feet of the elders of a tribe. I know some of the elders say, "Why would you call me elders? And you want to be called senior?" So it's lovingly called the elders. We're looking at the elders that just happened this past fall, who above and beyond had so much fun. I think they felt just as terrified as meeting the students as the students were meeting the elders, but that soon disappeared. And we had a sense of mentorship coming not only from the elder to the teen, but the teen to the elder. I think the elders felt quite changed by the conversation they had with a 12 and 13-year-old, which was surprising to them.
Yeah, because profound is on both sides. I think, yes, and it's sometimes a different thing. There's a revisit of their own lifetimes, of their own childhood sometimes. And the greatest thing is the diversity too. It's great that Booker Middle School and High School have a demographic that is a majority African American students, and also Asian students have more of a majority. Latin students, and white students are the kind of the smallest demographic, which we like, because then we can reach out. And there's a wonderful, as you can see, this kind of diversity that's happening right here.
Yeah. We've had some of our elders have done this from the very beginning, and some brand new ones. There's Carol right there, who is the president of our board and won't miss a year. She has so much fun getting to know these other students.
She's been there 5 years.
5 years, right? She wasn't our first year, was she? No, but she was every year after that, right? So it's been fun to come into the classroom and interact. And it's interesting because it's frightening to, when you're young, to have to come up with a monologue all by yourself, to stand on stage when you're just learning theater, and have to embody somebody else that they had to create on their own. They weren't given a script to learn. They have to write it themselves. So some of them took to it very quickly. People like our dear Jackson Carney, who we had our very first year, and then continued to go on through into the high school when he became a junior, and then went and did the solo with adults and professionals, and is now getting ready to go off to college. So he told us yesterday how that completely changed his life, to be able to stand on stage and to tell story and to figure out himself. Um,
And speaking of Jackson, that was just his mother, who is now here as part of our board. She's
Right.
our board secretary, so that's really delightful. And
Right.
then she participated last year.
exactly.
Um,
So, and now we're seeing some of this. I'm going to click off of that. Yeah, I'm going to click out of that because you can see some of the students are writing, and here's our elders coming together. So it's been just a wonderful, wonderful experience all the way around. So that is our middle school. I see Liba wants to come in, but we're not ready for Liba, but I'm going to bring her in anyway. Hi, Liba. We're not really ready for you
Who
yet, but
is-
you can come
who
and
is-
watch as we
how can
continue
we
to talk.
ever be not ready for Liba?
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're
Deal.
talking about the bridge, the middle school program, that we've been working with our elders and our teens, and so we've just been really enjoying that experience. We also have our program with the high school kids, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull up that loop.
Liba, did you ever get to experience the high school?
I did.
Yeah, I thought you came to this last one, didn't you?
Right.
I did. I saw Solo, and then I saw the kids who were doing the interactions with the elders.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
oh
You got to
yes,
see both.
right. You
Right.
saw both. Oh, great.
Okay. And we're going to get to what you beautifully have done. This is our loop for our high school kids. This program we call in Solo Synergy, Oh Solo Mia, which I think is just brilliant. There's Katie Cairo, who has gone on from being, we didn't have her in middle school, but we had her in high school. Sunny Smith is the facilitator for the Booker High School program. And Katie went through the junior. She went in to do the solo and is off in college. She's going to be a senior in college this coming fall and has created her own theater company out in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So these are the high school kids from last year or this past fall.
I just want to correct something.
Uh-huh.
I'm so sorry, Annie.
That's all right.
Sunny Smith is the instructor, the sole instructor in the Booker High School for all of the VPA, the 80 VPA students. So she is the instructor in the classroom. We are the facilitators of our program.
Right. She's actually head of the theater department.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that we come into her classroom
Exactly.
as facilitators of Oh Solo Mia.
Uh-huh.
There we have it.
There you go.
That was Sienna, by the way, Bostock, who's on our board. She's our student liaison, which we like to have every year. So that works really nicely.
Kyle has been part of the from the very beginning too in the middle school.
Yeah, what we found ever since Jackson Carney, who was in our first year middle school, we have several students every year now who went through our middle school program as well.
And here's
So
the
that's
type of
wonderful.
solo theater that we talk about. We talk about a solo play, which is a monologue. It could be autobiographical, or it can be biographical about some famous person, and infusing your own self. Monty Polylogue is interesting. It's where you become many different people in an environment. There's spoken word. There's solo cabaret, it's just you and perhaps your musician. You can create it like I do cabaret, which is make it a solo musical. Physical theater, which involves dance, mime, or circus art, which has become very popular. Performance art, a combination of many different skills. Stand-up comedy, and sometimes it's toy theater. All kinds of wonderful things. Oh, there's Blake in class.
Yeah, so
and there's
Annie and
Andy
I
in
come
class.
into the classroom for the entire semester, once a week,
And there's Sunny Smith.
starting about September into December, during which these students are doing exercises that we're facilitating, and
To get them stimulated
they have
into
to do
writing
a
their
lot
own
of
piece.
writing.
Right.
and then we do some physical exercises and other ways to get them out as performers. And by the end of the semester, they have a piece that they are planning on doing, which is a 10 minutes performance or presentation
Of something that could be a larger piece.
which they do
Right.
then in January.
Mhm.
And that's what we were talking about, Liba.
Right. So she got to see some of that. So they're they really are. What's beautiful is the class really becomes a unit after this whole experience. We see this every year. They become very close. They get a chance to hear each other's solo pieces. They help advise each other, not helping them write their piece per se, but be that third eye for them.
And I think Annie and I can say, I'm just underlining what she just said, that they're changed as a group. They're changed. They come out of this, maybe starting with this, not quite cohesive, not quite together. Sometimes because students come into the program as juniors, so we sometimes have new students. In fact, the last year, and I'm talking about the year before our last fall, we had two students who we were. Okay.
Oh, I can't pause it.
Okay, you can't.
That's right.
There they are.
Yeah, we're talking about
Those are the two
seniors and also people who've already graduated and come back and like to talk to the class and advise. Here's Kylie, who's actually giving a little bit of what she did the year before, to give them inspiration in what she does. Maybe a little bit later we might watch one of her shows. Her pieces.
And each of them give just a little advice, and all of it is golden. It all helps in some form.
Some of the students actually take the gauntlet that we throw down at their feet to come, and if they want to continue to work and get better, they will come over to us or arrange to come in and really work deeper in their pieces. This is a Sienna who actually really wanted to work on her piece and has now become a member of our board as a student liaison. And there's our crazy crew. Just the best.
Those are all the people that you saw, Liba.
Yeah.
This year.
From the year before. Yeah. So we've just been having a wonderful time working with these students. And then, like you said, some of them continue on to go into the solo, which we'll talk in a little bit too. I want to show something else here from the high school. This we didn't get a chance to take a look at, and this is actually this is Sienna wanted to share.
Ah, right.
And I'm here to tell you a little bit about why I love this program. So I met Annie and Blake last year when they were working with the former juniors, so they're currently seniors. And I ran up to them and I was like, hi, I really love what you guys are doing. Is there any way that I can get involved? And then I kind of networked with them, and they just welcomed me in open arms, and they were like, yes, we'd love to get you involved in things. And then I worked with them a little bit elsewhere, and then I ended up being a part of their board. So now I'm the current student liaison and head of media marketing. And so I have definitely grown a passion around this company and the just genuine good that comes out of working with these two. And I don't know, it makes me really happy talking about it. But I think that there's such a profound way of learning in an environment that is not about being correct or being perfect, but it's all about being truthful. Because I don't think that there's enough truth in the world right now. And so if there's an opportunity to share the truth with people and, showcase humanity, I think it's really important. And I would love to continue this. So we need your help to provide this for people for forever and ever and ever, but specifically for the kids to come. And the people that really need to hear and share the truth. Thank you.
I just love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try and have a student liaison on our board so we can make sure that we hear the voice of the students now. I mean, it's one thing for us old fogies to be on trying to create something, but it's nice to have them share it with their ideas. It's I think it's just great for them to be a part of something like that and have that on their resume that they were on the board of a theater company,
Yep.
Most definitely. So I want to talk a little bit about the solo And then after all this, let's watch a little bit of the middle school. Let's watch a little bit of the high school, and let's watch a little bit of the solo people performing.
I love that. The solo came out of a need that we had. Actually, it started with our original festivals because we would do them 2 weekends. We had a week in between, and we started a couple workshops. One was That's My Story, and I'm sticking to it, and the other was a cabaret development kind of workshop. And they ran every year. And one year we actually combined them with 3 people who wanted to do all of them. So that started, and then we realized one of our biggest passions beyond going into the classroom itself is to help people. This is why we started, really, help people to develop their solo pieces. And we're talking about adults and professionals who have in mind a result of actually performing. And so the solo began. And with our first workshop in 2020, we started developing how we're going to go about this. So we are now in our actually 3rd year. We've had 3 years of about two, so like 6 workshops altogether, 2 a year. And the last one we had, let's talk about Liba and Sarah.
Right. Should we have this great collaboration now with the Sarasota Contemporary Dance with their in-studio series. In fact, well, let's have them talk about that. And then I want to bring in Liba because she can actually talk about her experience. So let's show a little bit of that. And I think it's this one. No, it's not. It's this one, I think. It's this one. Here we go. I want to tell you about my dear friend here, Lamus. She's the artistic director of the Sarasota Contemporary Dance, and we have been for our 2nd year involved with their in-studio series. Tell about the in-studio.
Yes, it's a series that we created, I think it's been 5 years ago, that I really wanted to have a series that allows for artists in various stages of development and other genres besides dance has a home where they can come in, they can practice, they can rehearse, and then they can show what they're working on to an audience. So it's a work in progress series. But for some artists, they have a piece that they just haven't performed in front of Sarasota community, so they want that feedback. So it's really catered to provide the structure of having a lighting designer with Monessa Sally, having it live streamed, having it recorded, so they have something.
Right, and we're a theater company that doesn't have a place, so that you invite us to come in for those weeks to play with Monessa and to play with everyone here. You have been so loving and giving.
Hi, my name is Laura, and I am from Cleveland, Ohio. And I had been working on a show for almost actually 6 years, that I just never found the right voice, wording, and also a show about someone that people know. So there feels that responsibility to them that you're honoring what they did in their lifetime. And I just gave it up. And then a friend of mine said, I know Annie Morrison, and she teaches this class in Sarasota. I'm like, talk to me more. And I met Annie and Blake on a Zoom meeting for the first time. And I think the thing that I had always been told this about Annie is, she is so accepting. She'll take you for what you have. Don't worry about anything, because I've not had that experience with other writing classes or instructors. And that was exactly what I got on this, and it was a Zoom, was Blake and Annie just like, this is great, Laura. Nothing was, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. So within a few weeks, I was on a plane flying here to Sarasota. I'm not a writer. I think I am now, but it's always been the most difficult thing. I can help other people with their writing, but when you do your own, it's a lot like singing. You know, it's internal and inward, and you worry, or I worry, what's it going to sound like? And if people don't like it, does that mean they don't like me? And what Annie and Blake did was love everything, or pretended they loved everything, without judgment, which is what you need to be able to create anything, but especially a solo piece. Because again, it's like that singing, you sing wrong and then it's, and then wonderful, loving suggestions. I have never experienced that with anyone else I ever took a writing class with. So if you're someone that you've been mulling over this particular show for 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, 10 years, or somebody you wrote stuff long ago, but it's still a story that you want to share, it is worth coming to Sarasota to work with Annie and Blake. We're having plans to take over the world with them, to get them other places, but for right now you need to come to Sarasota. And here's the other thing I learned. I got so much more done here than I would ever do at home. So that's why I'm here a second time. I'm here the second time because what I love to call the zoo at my house, which is just a dog and a cat, which you would think would not be that big of a deal, but they are. It's easy to make excuses not to write. It's not the right day. I have a hangnail. It's snowing outside. Here, I can focus. So Sarasota, you're really, really lucky to have these two, because it defines what a community is. And not only community within their workshop, but community within your city. So don't take it for granted.
Yay!
Yay.
So Liba, or Laba, I'll call you Liba, and then all of a sudden I heard it was Laba. I'm dyslexic, so I never say people's names right, ever, first time, ever. That's why I'm so glad my name is Anne. It's easy.
Yeah, but sometimes she calls herself
most people call me Annie. So if you call me Anne, I think you're not talking to me. So my brain is a mess. Labra, my darling, let's talk. Tell us about how you found us, how you got involved in this, what your experience is, and where you're going to go next with the solo.
Well, thank you. And there's nothing I love to talk about more than you guys, SaraSolo, and my experience, which is active right now. I'm somebody who was creative by hobby. I was writing little musicals as a hobby and getting them performed as a hobby, and writing songs and singing and performing at conferences, nonprofit kind of stuff for free for 24 years. And I was writing a memoir, and I've had some epic traumas in my life that have dovetailed with national incidents and personal things and societal issues. And every time I would work on my memoir, it was like a thud. It was like, I'm working on my memoir. But then I met Annie in a parking lot.
Uh-oh.
Gretchen, your neighbor, introduced us, I believe, the artist, Gretchen Lum, who's worked with you. And you handed me your card and said, if you're interested in solo theater, give me a call. Well, it had never occurred to me to think about solo theater. And then I moved away from that place into another place, and I looked and looked and looked for your card because I thought, I think I am curious about this. And I remembered SaraSolo, and then I ended up at ASLO, ASOLO, Googling, like, what was it called? So by the time I actually found you again, I had missed an intensive was going on that I missed. And then I ended up with the opportunity to take the one, was it in November last year?
Yeah, right.
November with Sarah. So what happened was I'm in a dining room with you two and Sarah Minton, and it's this intimate class, and you're giving us assignments, and I'm just have all of a sudden have this huge freedom, and it just unleashes, and I'm just, I was just throwing stuff out. I didn't have to sit and say, is this any good? And I'm going to rewrite this 15 times, and now I'm going to procrastinate for 3 more months. No, you gave us like a container, and then this very gentle, loving guidance. And Sarah and I were like writing and sharing our writing and writing. It was very rigorous and active and supported. And I ended up starting to write this show that I'm developing now, Cosmically Enthused. That's right. So for me, I'm 63, and now it's like all of those creative threads and all of that urge to perform and everything now is coming through the eye of this needle, SaraSolo Productions.
Right. Right.
And I'm having the time of my life.
Yay. That's what I love.
The first line of your show.
Right. I'm having the time of my life. It's the first line of your show. Well, I want to ask you, because, when we did the thing at the in studio, to me, it was still like a continuation of a class in a sense,
right.
Because we really feel, based on our own experience, that when you're writing your own solo piece, the actor has to inform the writer. And it's one thing to sit around and in an intensive with other solo artists and read what you've written, and then maybe get up and do 10 minutes in front of them. It's quite profound to then get it in front of other people that we call your scene partner, the audience, because then the actor pops in and may discover things that the writer just couldn't possibly know until it gets on the feet in front of an actor.
And that was what the in studio is. It's bringing a little bit more staging, some lights, if necessary, and a tiny bit of more formality, only in that it's the full clean presentation. Some of the people bringing music, recorded music, and other things that are there.
Right. Some people have some things memorized. Some people are writing up right to the very end and are reading. It's all good because they're all
work in progress.
It's always for the writer / actor of the solo piece to what they need.
Yeah.
And it's quite something. Yeah.
It's quite something. And something so remarkable that somebody like me that has never had professional acting training. I mean, I've acted in junior high and high school. And I have some musical training, but not, some amount. And to have the support to, like Sienna said, explore my truth, and I went and took, singing lessons because I want to learn the craft of singing. And then when it got to the show, it really wasn't that important to sing it exactly correctly. But what was important was to connect to me, connect to my source, connect to my instrument, and come from that heart place.
Yeah.
And just the remarkable thing, how you keep steering I call it theater shamanism now.
And I think we can coin it.
I do, because you're coming in with your souls first.
Yeah.
And then that craft, there's a lot of craft involved in optimizing these performances so that it comes across, right? But the soul of this is my soul and your soul, and just the feeling of safety, and that to be supported at that level is just so rare, and so I could kind of forget everything I thought I knew about acting or should be, or what does it look like, or what should it, and just come from myself to my show. And so for you to support that is just, I would just say it's some kind of gift from God.
Okay.
Well, okay. Her words. Just say it.
My words. Yeah, and and I just see this as a personal growth. Even if now I'm on fire, I want to do this show, this
Excellent.
wherever it'll go. I mean, I'm
Right.
absolutely on fire with my show. However, I do see this process, the personal growth for all other kinds of artists to
Right.
come in and have this experience, even if solo theater isn't their thing. This experience is really key to the growth of an artist. So
Right.
I see any kind of artist benefiting from this experience, even if they don't need to end up with a solo show. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well, thank you, because I noticed that as a performer and I'm a professional actor, that one of the reasons I love solo theater, it's absolutely terrifying. You're out there and you have no other actor to lean on
Yeah.
if something should go wrong. It's all up to you, and then it forces you to really listen to your audience, so you become a better listener. You listen to yourself. You listen to what's coming out of your mouth. You listen and respond in a different way, and you be in a different way, so that when I'm in a play that somebody else wrote with other performers, I feel like I'm a better performer because I listen better. I'm present with the person on stage better because I have a better sense of being and a better sense of self. And I don't know how to describe that. It's not that now I'm going to play the audience in a different way because I have this relationship with the audience. It just makes you, I don't know, that's the only way I can describe it.
I talked about going into my first multicast play after my solo ventures, and my little mind walks in and says, "Oh, who are you? Oh, there are other. Oh, great! Hi! It's not so lonely. It's not just me. Oh, who are you?" And there's a full cast of people around you, and I think it can be stated really simply that in solo, the audience is essential. They're not always a part of the show,
Mhm.
as in storytelling, where they are always a part of the storytelling. But they are sometimes witnesses, but responders,
Right.
and we say the other characters in the play,
Right.
and your scene partner. And in I think when we go into multicast plays,
Mhm.
just like Annie said, I'm just underlining everything she said about now you respond to people differently. I really think I do too. I think it makes you better overall because you're now collaborating with people. If you hadn't, you find the deep collaboration between people on stage and you. I think it makes us better and deeper listeners and actors. I
Exactly.
think that's it's across the boards.
Absolutely.
But thank you, Libra, for pointing out this idea that it could be scaled to other types of artists, and because that comes into the collaboration or the
Right.
consulting or the any of the things that I think we'd like to approach all art, in a similar way,
Mhm.
in a gentle, similar
Right.
way.
And our collaboration with the Sarasota Contemporary Dance, I really want to work with their dance people to do their own solo physical theater piece. They're very, very busy, but they do have another component of students that would really benefit from it. So, and I think that'll be part of our collaboration next year, because I know Lamus, as we saw in the video, is just really hot on this collaboration, and we can really go forward with it.
And we are actually in the midst right now of collaborating with one artist who has a lot of dance in his piece, and so we get to start that. I worked with Catherine Tanner as her director of Man's Last Dance, which is a solo play with dance.
Mhm.
The dance is essential to it, and I'm not a choreographer, but I know movement, and Catherine actually gave me the choreography as it was, and then we just staged it on the play on the stage. Gave it a context and a life, And then we found that all of her movement from scene to scene, from throughout the entire piece, was danced. Basically, she couldn't help herself, because she was playing a dancer and she was playing other people who are involved with dance. And so yeah, all those things start reaching out, and we're really fortunate to have people like you, Liba, and Sarah Minton. And when we went to we've done this in lots of different contexts. We're working a bit with people in another program at SaraSolo, at the Federation, Jewish Federation, and finding that it does all lead to the same idea. It does all, and it starts with what you call the soul. It starts with
Right.
a knowing, a something, and a gentle pulling, because that's our way.
Right.
So
I think it'd be fun if you don't mind, Lieben. You can stay if you want to. We're going to play some solo pieces from different. We'll look a little bit at our middle school, and high school. Excuse me, the elders, so we can watch an example of that. I want to show at least one of our high school students, and we'll see if we can find. We also been now working with the Sarasota, or Sarasota County. No, the State College of Florida. Excuse me, my brain is so crazy right now, because we had the wonderful opportunity of using their space when Booker High School could not use their theater yet.
which is when Liba came to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of that wonderful collaboration over 2 years, we had a chance to do the solo intensive with their students. And it kind of be fun to pull up what they did too. So we're just going to go play a little bit. I'm going to share, and I'm going to take us to our YouTube. So everybody be patient with me as I try and figure that out. Oh, you know what? I have to do this differently. I have to go this way.
So while she's setting that up,
While I'm setting
Liba,
that up.
let me ask you a question about where you're going further with your piece. Is there a way to talk about it without people having to know the context, or what are your definitive plans about going forward?
Definitive first. At first it was a 19-minute piece, and now it's about a 25-minute piece. And my next goal is to create a close to a 1-hour piece.
Great.
So
You got it.
it's to do that, and probably perform it again with an audience at that level until
Great.
I feel like it's formed. But this is my first.
I hope we can provide a venue for that. It's something that we've always wanted to be in this town, and have a place where we can really bring people back again and again as they're growing, and so that works really nicely too. I'm sorry, you were going to say something else.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm learning what the next steps are. I apparently I can take it to fringe festivals, but I really have the urge to be very proactive and perhaps have it filmed, and just create a membership organization, perhaps. So
because you have a lot of groups who would benefit from anything that you do. And they're kind of ready-made in a way because of you say that you haven't acted, but you've been a speaker, and you've been somebody in front of a group of people. And in some of those ways, and in one place you wrote a musical,
right,
and did a reading of that musical, or a sort of a concert. And I mean, there are all those ways that you've become, that you place yourself in front. And I think what's beautiful is that you're developing into, that doesn't mean that those lectures go away, or those kinds of ways you present go away. It's just now you have a bigger variety that you can choose to be an actor in some Ps,
Right, exactly.
and not in others. So do you have that?
Well, I have Kyle and Carol Wolf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was going to go back to our different programs, and so I got this all set up. So let's
great.
look a little bit of this. Is a middle school kid, 12, and his elder performing, and it's one of my favorite pieces.
And Kyle has gone through as a junior this last year, presenting as well. And Levi, you saw.
Every little girl has her dream. Being a princess, having a pet unicorn, or being a makeup artist. Not me. I wanted to be an archaeologist. Digging up bones, analyzing them, figuring out what they are. Not every girl's dream. At least it was different. Come on, everyone. Let's dig up some bones. If you find anything, tell me. Okay. Bone? Now, I wait. A couple days go by, nothing. A couple months later, I figured out that bone was actually a human bone. Ugh. There was a graveyard that they couldn't build over yet because it hadn't been long enough. So I gave up that dream as soon as I figured out that bone was human. Now, I work for a company that recruits people like an editor or a salesperson. I mean, at least I don't have a chance of digging up a human bone.
Mom, do you have the camera? Okay. How do I look? Do I look okay? Oh, wait, I forgot to take this. Hello, judges. My name is Kyle Patrick Ramon. This is my first audition for America's Got Talent. But if you don't take me, it will not be my last. So for today, for our audition, I'm going to sing a little song, and for the character, the singing chef. Sweet tooth shout, hooray, hooray, hooray. I love to bake some tasty crepes to help you forget all your aches and make you laugh when I am in a play or 2 or 10 or 20. I'll sing a song to make you strong and move all your blues along. You can count on me too. You can count on me too. You can count on me to make your day. I will sing and dance your blues away. I'd like to give a shout out to my mom for videotaping this. Mom, I love you. Thank you so much. I know you love me too, but not as much as I love you. Boom! Right in the gut.
Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can pull up another one. Let's see if we can find. Oops, nope, stop.
See if we can find Kyle in high school.
Kyle in high school. That'd be great. So we need to go to. We need to go to the
O Solo Mio.
right. O Solo Mio. And here is Kyle. Now we get to see him in high school. Wait a minute. Probably should share it. Wouldn't it be nice? Give me a minute. I'm not very proficient here. Sorry about that, guys. Excuse me. Here we go. All righty.
God. I can't with this. Don't get me wrong, I love singing. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I've become to love and care about it so much that I feel the need to be perfect. One flat note or one weird vowel, and I'm already criticizing myself. I wish I could just go back to when I didn't care about technique or how I sounded. When I just sang the song like nobody was watching, felt the song in my soul. Sweet moves, right? Yeah. Dance has always been a constant in my life, but it didn't come to light until recently. I use dance for practically everything. To express emotion, to relieve grief, pain, to feel. I've used it to develop my own story and to retell those important stories in a beautiful form. I like to joke around. One of the ways I do that is through movement. I'm a very physical person. Physical touch, physical comedy. Maybe not physical, if you know what I mean. And I've always been a happy person. I mean, I came out of the womb smiling. I was like, whoa, what is this place? So much more room than where I was. Not as warm, though. Growing up, I always looked at the world in more of a positive light. When I was 1, I had this little bouncy seat that I loved, and it hung on the door. One day, I was bouncing away, laughing and living my life to the fullest. All of a sudden, snap! Silence. Kyle? My mom rushed around the corner, only to find me dangling in the chair because one of the straps broke. So here I am, hanging sideways, and I start bursting out laughing, not fazed by it at all. I still tell this story to this day to remind me that I can look at the small things to bring me joy. I try to keep this happy-go-lucky mentality, but I have faced some challenges along the way. One of my biggest issues has been my body. I always was bigger than the average person. I was born at a whopping 9 pounds, 8 ounces, and I measured 22 inches long. I never really cared about how I looked or what clothes did and didn't fit until about the 5th grade. This was when I was hit with bullying, constantly about practically anything, but especially my weight. That shirt's a little tight. I can see your boobs. Maybe try wearing a bra. Things that only got worse when I went to middle school. Huh. You think I'll even fit next to him? He's taking up the whole seat, fat ass. I was glad COVID happened because I could hide my body from the world, wearing hoodies and making sure the angles on my computer camera were just right. Bye. Lunch. I started to not eat as much, trying to get thinner before I went back to in-person school, but ultimately it just led to me eating more and binge eating. I just ate and ate to be comforted, to not feel the pain. And I did this for a couple months, but I realized I don't have to fit the frame.
So trapped in your body, maybe you don't really want me there at your birthday party. I'll be there in the corner. You can write over every single word of the conversation.
I started to do beautiful things with my body through dance. The lines, the space, I feel light. The weight lifted off of me when it needs to be. I can be heavy and dense when I wanted to. I could do all these things with my body in these crazy ways, and it made me appreciate it more. I glide past all the hate. I flow above it. I push it away, bring out the negative juices. I punch forward and slash into a new me. Dab into the adventures, flick away the bad memories, and dance through life. Step by step.
Sorry about that. We muted ourselves.
That gets to me because one of the greatest joyous things that happen to me are when somebody is celebrating themselves. And it's interesting because Kyle comes from an incredible family, because his brother, who came 2 years before, did a performance for himself in his junior year that got bravos, because they both, partially because they both came to us But they both know their own truth, and it's just remarkable to watch what happens. Um,
When you mean
Yeah.
came to us, besides classroom, they also took the liberty to come and see us
Yeah.
to just get even better.
Yeah.
You know, we offer that to the students, and they either could do it or not. We always felt that you get out of the program what you put into it, and then those who really put into it just shine. So yeah,
It's
both of them, yeah.
remarkable across the boards. So there, Liba, would you be would you like to come on the stage for a second?
We have the video of the first class presentation when you were asking the audience, and then we asked you if you wanted to expand it for the in studio series, which we don't have the video yet to give you. So we will eventually have that. But would you mind if we watched what your first experience was?
Oh no, delighted.
Okay, give me a second, Blake. You just chat for a while, trying to pull this up.
So again, this was the culmination of our November intensive that you and Sarah shared a time at Sorka's Augustine's studio, and so you shared the bill, but this is a result of that.
Wait a minute, I'm just gonna get it all set up.
Yeah, so I had written like 80 vignettes, and I didn't really know what my show was. And you let me just come into your dining room, and I thought, well, these ones they laughed at really hard. So let's start with this hairdresser. They that was funny, and then it leads into this little song, and that really set up the whole.
Right. So let's see your version here. Give me a minute.
I'm 40 years old. I take a big risk to get a new hairdresser. I dare to walk into a storefront salon in Arlington, Virginia, and take a seat and let a complete stranger restyle my hair. I tell him approximately what I want. He's very chatty, and he talks to me in this strong sort of French Moroccan accent. And it turns out he's friends with the King of Morocco. He's got my attention. And I forget about this hair business. He's cutting it, whatever. He tells me the king has a heart for disabled children and is planning a fundraiser. I'm full of wonder and a new kind of excitement. How can I help? I want in on this project in this faraway exotic land with a real live king. He finishes up my hair, and it's kind of short with some fringy things. Whatever, it's good enough for the fundraiser. I am now consumed with wanting to help the King of Morocco. I return to my apartment, and it occurs to me to pray to God for a song, a new song that disabled children will sing at a fundraiser and inspire people to whip out their wallets and double their donation. God answers my prayer and a song downloads. Over the next 2 days, both lyrics and melody intertwined. And as this being the first song that I prayed for, I assume all songwriters get songs this way. The song is called In God's Eyes, and I recognize it as a kind of a miracle. It's like a modern day psalm, and I sing it over and over and over and over to everyone and anyone. I stop the postman, sir, I have this small song. It's just a minute. I'm just going to sing this. Okay. In God's eyes, I stand tall. In God's eyes, I never fall. Every part of me is useful. Every part of me is strong. In the blueprint of creation, I am sparkling. I am shining. I'm a star. And then I call my sister. I have this song. It's incredible. Just let me sing it to you. In God's mind, I am home. I'm a precious living soul. God's partner in creation. God's gift and mystery. In the blueprint of creation, I am sparkling. I am shining. I'm a star. And she was a little irritated. And then I went to my 12-step meeting for food addiction recovery. And I corralled a little group before the meeting. I said, you have to listen to this. This song is a miracle. In God's heart, I am free. I am love's reality. God's courage and a blessing to become the perfect me. In the blueprint of creation, I am sparkling. I'm shining. I'm a star. And there's a hush and a pause, and someone says, sing it again. Then my friend Laura comes over, and she's my declutter lady. And I said, Laura, I got to sing you this song. And she burst out crying. And I get goosebumps because she had a healing just right there with my little song. So I call recording studios in town because I want somebody to record it for free for the fundraiser. So I find a recording engineer, and he's able to lay down these 2 really sweet guitar tracks, and I record the song, and I take the recording back to the hair salon. No salon. He's gone. No hairdresser, no king. So I go to see a healer called Amrit Starseed. She's highly recommended, and she puts me on her table. I have no idea what she's doing. She prays and chants and rings a little bell and lights some candles. And suddenly I'm like, my throat is parched. It's so dry. I'm telling her I'm burning up with heat. And she asked me to look down at my feet. What shoes am I wearing? In my inner vision, I look down. I'm not wearing any shoes. I'm tied to the stake, and there are flames all around me. I'm a buxom herbalist, and they're burning me at the stake. I'm a witch. The scene completes, and something else is happening. This time I tell the healer, oh, God, I'm so sad. I'm just desolate. And she asked me to look down at my feet again. What shoes am I wearing? And I look down, and I'm wearing court jester shoes. It's the time of the bubonic plague, and they banished me from court, and I'm out of a job. This might explain why I'm deathly allergic to perfumes and colognes. You know, the courtesans use perfume to mask their stench because they didn't bathe. So that scene completes, and next I feel enraged, and I look down, and I see I'm wearing work boots, and in this life I'm an ugly, violent man who beats his wife. The healer finishes the session and gives me some healing prayers as homework, and then I sing her the new song. And she says, Liba, you need to become entirely willing to become totally unrecognizable to yourself. And you need to start a nonprofit based on this song. And I'm like, nah, I don't get it. I've got you right where I want you. Afraid to live and afraid to die. Afraid to succeed and afraid to fail. True perfection. I am the maestro of chaos, dialing it up a little, dialing it down a little, so you never get grounded, never relax, never feel free. If I let you see your beauty or goodness, my plan is to annihilate you slowly, torturously, subtly. I'm a true evil artist, and you, my friend, are the perfect victim. You are so willing to suffer. I love it so much. You are so willing to procrastinate, to quit, to stop, to forget and be confused and cross-addicted. I've got you by the nose and also by the tail. I am your super lower power, exuberant, dark, and evil. It is real power. I'll make you beg for the things that will kill you. I'll make you addicted in so many ways. It's more interesting for me. Now, let's watch you be born and have a new human life. she can hear me. She's just around the corner. I can hear the soap opera music. Damn it, this is hard work. I'm not exactly hungry. I probably could use a diaper change. Mostly, I'm lonely. I'm a baby and I'm gonna burn this house down. No one will survive this rage. I'm not terrified, you're terrified. I'm not desolate, you're desolate. I have no skills here, people. Left alone in my crib, can't walk, can't talk, can't tell you what I need. All I've got is my cry, my scream in this rage. Yet no one notices. So I have the thought, do I matter? Do my feelings matter? Do I even exist? Hello? I can't save myself and I cannot tolerate these feelings. Apparently no one can save me now and I cannot tolerate these feelings. No one can save me and I don't want to feel this way. So I'm going to start World War III, and the amount of cruelty I have to give the world is endless. I will not stop at annihilation. I will rampage, burn, I will nuke, I will flatten, I will raise this earth. And you thought I was just a little baby. This is going much better than I thought. She mad. This is where I insert into this tender, beautiful, darling young subconscious mind the prohibition on feeling visceral emotions. What that means, from now on, when she is deeply sad, lonely, angry, or scared, she will deny it to herself and divert herself by making scenes, showing off, acting out in non-ideal ways for attention, pretending she's fine. From now on, she will feel shame for having basic human needs. She will feel shame for wanting her basic human needs to be met. And thus, my friends, an addict is born. Ta-da. Salty, crunchy, sweet, creamy, cold, hot, cheesy, meaty, 7-Eleven, salty, crunchy, cold, creamy, sweet, hot, meaty, cheesy, volume, Dr. Pepper, home, cake mix. What, Mom? Just a glass of water? I'll be up in a minute. Oh, don't forget to turn the dishwasher on. When my 3 daughters were little, they were around 8, 7, and 3 years old. I took them shopping in downtown Grand Island, Nebraska. We were walking along the sidewalk window shopping, and I hear someone shouting, and I turn around to see what the commotion is. And I see my youngest daughter toddling across the busy street by herself. And a strange man runs out and grabs her, picks her up, and brings her back to me. And I'm livid, I'm terrified. How could I be so careless to let this happen? I feel ashamed. I lean down and I look into my daughter's eyes and I scold her, never, never, never do this again, never cross the street alone. And she looks at me and she plugs her little ears and she says, I don't want to hear it. And that's my baby girl, Liba. No mother could ask for 3 more perfect creatures than my 3 beautiful daughters. I was terrified they would end up like me. It's a kind of torture having to wear this massive girdle and bra combination, especially in the summer heat. I wear them for my dignity when I leave the house. I heave a girdle up over a front apron of fat, and then I heave it up over the rear. And then I have a bra that has a midsection attached. And then what I do is I take very sturdy diaper pins and I pin around the middle, the waistline. And that way my fat doesn't spill out between the bra and the girdle, and don't want that to happen. So they don't make clothes for women my size. So I have all my clothes made by a dressmaker, and I never complain. I never talk about my feelings. I'm actually so secretly horrified by this condition that I don't know how to talk about it. I can't stay on any diet. I've tried most of them, and even traveled across the country to Duke University for the rice diet. My physicians are suggesting a surgical solution, and I can barely dare to hope that that might work for me. I get home from work, I spill out of these garments, I take a hot shower, I rest on our king-size bed, and apply some pink desert flower lotion. And my daughters come home and gather around me on the bed and relax and chatter about their days. My handsome, wonderful husband comes home. Who am I to yearn for anything more than this? It's Mom's idea that I apply to Wellesley College, an all-women's college. I've never heard of it. I learned that Wellesley students are automatically cross-registered at MIT. That's exciting. I'm the jazz writer for the Kansas City Star, and I'm a senior in high school, and I have great grades, and I get into Wellesley with financial aid. Mom and Dad put me on the airplane to go to my new life, and Mom checks herself into the hospital for obesity surgery. I'm in my wondrous new college life, professors, new everything, and Mom is embarking on her new life. The possibility of being freed from the bondage of morbid obesity and all that pain and shame. And 3 weeks later, she's dead. Years later, I got to know one of the ICU nurses from that hospital, and she shared with me that that particular surgery that they chose for my mom, for her obesity solution, no one recovered from that, no one. My mom's doctors all go to our synagogue. My dad doesn't sue anyone. At a Wellesley College event for alumni in my hometown, I see the wife of my mom's primary care physician. When she realizes it's me, the daughter of that woman that her husband treated at 51 and basically died of medical abuse, she runs out of the house. I was angry and bitter for years. And I schlepped this memorabilia with me every time I move, every house, every apartment. And it always feels good to declutter. And look at that. Oh, my old little song. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me see. In God's eyes I stand tall. In God's eyes I never fall. Every part of me is useful. Every part of me is strong. In the blueprint of creation, I am sparkling. I am shining. I'm a star. In God's mind, I am whole. I'm a precious living soul. God's partner in creation. God's gift and mystery. In the blueprint of creation, I am sparkling. I am shining. I'm a star. In God's heart, I am free. I am love's reality. God's courage and
start. Just look into my eyes. Look into my mind. Look into my heart, precious beating heart. You'll see God's eyes, God's mind, God's heart. You'll see God's eyes, God's mind, God's heart. Thank you.
That's fun. How do you feel about watching that the first time you did it with a small little house of people to be your scene partner, to compare to what you finally did at the in studio?
Yeah, well, a week before that performance, I didn't have a show. I just had scores of vignettes. So it kind of came together suddenly. I mean, it was the magic of sitting with you in your dining room and piecing it together, and then you teaching me how to make the transitions. So you all were just so vital to this process. And then yeah.
No, I was gonna say it's so fun to watch this because I see now as you're expanding it, you have the harp. It's like when you have a gun in a show, you have to show it in the first act. So there might be fun thing about your exploration of harp and your storytelling, so that you can add that later in the end. So there's another fun thing to look at. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And to compare, so I was eager to expand the show for the second performance, but then I went a little overboard and it gave me apoplexy because I just wasn't comfortable with all of the new material. So then we cut some of that out. But so it's just sort of organically expanded, more about my mom and more about me in the food addiction. And there is some kind of organic process where there were lines in that initial piece you shared that I refused to say as the actor. I had written lines as the writer, and the actor showed up and just skipped over them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that feels like acting, or that feels too scary, or, and in the second piece, I got coaching from you all how to say, I hate myself and I wish I were dead. Okay. I was scared to say that. So I got some directing how to say that. And then I felt confident saying that. And then I also did a pantomime, or is it a mime of the binge with the cake batter?
Right, right.
Which that you all coached me on that. So I had more courage and I had more enjoyment the second time, and then more the third time.
Right, right. So you get to go back in there and flush it out now, which is going to be fun. I can't wait. And we'll have to see it. We'll have to
Thank
see it
you.
and tell me about it. That'll be cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
we're gonna be winding down. So Laba, you're welcome to thank you for coming in. We're just gonna share. I mean, you're welcome to stay. We're just gonna talk a little bit about more people that while we've been online have donated to SaraSolo Productions here in this. Do you want to tell us some new people that popped in?
Yes, but I'm just posting this really quickly.
He's posting it really quickly on Facebook.
Yeah. Jamie Rocco.
Jamie Rocco and I have known each other as actors first, although I also know him as a director and a producer. We did a production of Cabaret way back. He was the MC and I was Sally Bowles. And we've kept that deep, deep friendship because he's such a delight over all these years. So I'm so tickled that you contribute in something that we love so dearly. Thank you, Jamie.
And Philip Koenig, who was one of our elders.
He was one of our elders. In fact, we saw his face when we were showing the elders in this past fall. That led into a January performance. He was just delightful. He really got his person so well. And I know that we had Peter Amster.
Peter Amster.
Yeah. A beautiful director. We got a chance to actually work together doing a cabaret for the Oslo repertory company during the COVID. And that's how we really got to bond together. And I just adore him so.
Karen Bell, who's always been a great supporter of Sheila Weiss.
Oh, well, Karen Bell was also in one of the solos.
That's right.
Working on circus art.
That's
because she's a
right.
wonderful
Our first
clown
one.
and an expert. And I've still got the gauntlet down at her feet to finish that because it's so delightful.
Margaret Anderson, who's also we worked with privately, and
and she just
she's
did
up north.
Up north. She's been working on hers is a little. She really wanted to do it more as a biography of Jane Eyre, its sister. And realized that maybe she needs to also add some of her own personal life to that. So that was a wonderful journey for her. And I'd love to see her come down with it completed.
Michael Billy, who's
Michael
incredible collaborator, because he comes from Theater Odyssey, but he also supports everyone else around.
He goes to everything, and he's such a good lover of theater and lover of the arts, and we need him in our community. So thank you, Michael Billy, for coming in.
Richard Seltzer, who has been supporting us since we began.
Yeah.
And also comes to a lot of our performances. He's a theater maker himself. So we appreciate that. Carolyn Michael, who also was in our festival one year, and incredible actress and good and director around town.
Absolutely. She's just been a delight. When I first got here in 1990, we got to know each other and work together. She put me in all kinds of fun little things. But yeah, she's now working with the Jewish theater, SaraSolo Jewish Theater. Which I gave to, yay. Yeah, it's a wonderful collaboration.
Yes.
So those are the new people that came in today?
That's it.
Yay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, there's still, if anyone's watching, you still can get a
time.
chance to give. We got up till noon. And so
another 25 minutes.
Another 25 minutes.
I love it.
So I think we should just wrap up tonight.
Shall we tell
or this afternoon?
Or today. What time is it?
I don't know. I'm still loopy.
It's 11:30 at night.
Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday, and I'm still celebrating it tonight because we didn't get a chance to go out to dinner last night. So, well, thank you, LaBoss, so much for coming in. And I'm going to say good day to everybody, and thank you for joining in. And we love you all, and stay tuned. And if you have a solo play in you, please let us know because we'd love to help you develop it. And otherwise, come and be a scene partner for solo artists. Okay.